Hello, my beautiful internet friends. How are you? Welcome to my desktop. I thought we would edit some photos today together. I haven't done this in a while, mostly because I was on the road for 60 days. I took the family on a 60-day around-the-world trip. One of the places we stopped here was Disney World. So I thought I'd pick a few random sets of shots that I took during that time and edit them here with you live, okay? So that way you can see my mistakes live, and maybe I'll have a successful photo. I don't know. You know, my goal when I go to each of these locations is to try to get one portfolio piece. And by that, what do I mean? Well, you know, I've got thousands of photos, tens of thousands of photos, and I kind of rank them on my smug mug. That's where I keep my portfolio. And I have this top 100 shots that I really like. Not everyone likes them. That's okay. It's my little world. My little world. But I try to get one shot that is somewhere in that top 100 that would displace one of the other losers. And I get that thing out of there. Let's put something new in there. Like, I've got a lot of Disney shots I really love that are in the top 100. So maybe I can replace it with this Disney shot. I don't know. I'm just getting started. You can edit these things with me. By the way, I'm here in Queenstown, New Zealand, back home in my studio. Happy to be here. Love being home. And tomorrow, programming note, tomorrow I'm going to do live critiques. We've got this really fun group on Facebook called Trey's Funky Lounge. Everyone's welcome in. It's a very nice group. We have one rule in the group: be nice. Which should be a rule for life, right? Just be nice. And don't take yourself so seriously, right? A lot of people take themselves very seriously. Let me go show you the group. And let me just check in. Let me just check in, make sure everything's going okay. If you're just joining us, welcome. It's live critique day. What's going on here? Oh yeah, they're going to go here. Let's go over here. Okay, first let's make sure the live broadcast is working. You never know. Let me refresh that and go down. And then I'll go show you the group. Okay. Go into the group. Okay, live critique working. Watching from Foley, Alabama. What's going on, Melody? Auburn, Alabama. If you guys are just tuning in, tell me where you're watching from. It's so cool. Hey, Danny. What's going on? Hey, Frederick from Canada. From the UK, Steve. What's happening? Denise from a macadamia nut farm in the jungle. Give me some of those macadamia nuts. I'm going 0 carb for the next 2 or 3 weeks. I can have macadamia nuts, though. Hello from Italy, Gloria. Grazie. Prego. Hey, Austin, Texas, Mike. Hey, I'm coming to Austin, Texas in about 10 days, by the way. Someone from the Arcanum there. Hello, Mike. What's going on? Simon, Allison. Hey, I can send shout-outs all day. You guys are awesome. Keep it up. By the way, I'll read all these comments later on. Good to hear you guys. From Italy, welcome to live editing day. We're going to work on this photo first from Disney World and a few other trips, or a few other shots from this around-the-world trip we did. Let me show you the group, okay? This is the group. This is the Becoming an Artist group, okay? Everyone come join. It's great. We've got about 5,000 people in here. Incredible. And I just put this post up here. Live photo critiques in about 24 hours, okay? So just reply in this thread with a photo that you want critiqued, and I'll do it live on the air tomorrow. Might I suggest, by the way, this URL, if you don't know it, is facebook.com/groups/becominganartist. The idea behind the group is I think we're all kind of struggling, including me, with this idea of becoming an artist. We all kind of help each other out, right? We're all in this together. Okay. So when you get ready to post your photo to that group for me to critique, I think a lot of people feel like, oh, I got to show Trey my best photo because I want him to like me. Don't worry about that. I like you already. You're in the group. You're an insider. Instead, why don't you try posting something that you're struggling with, something that you're having trouble with. You can't quite put your finger on the issue. Okay? So put that on there, what you're struggling with, and maybe write some text about what you're struggling with. And then tomorrow, hopefully I'll be able to get to it. You can just lay back on the couch like you're in therapy, and I'll do my best to photo diagnose your problem. My humble best. I don't know. I'll give it my best try. Okay, let's get right into it. Okay? Enough horseplay. So this shot came out. Let me turn off the presets so we have a little more real estate to work with. By the way, look at the before and after. Before, after. I haven't done anything to it. Just automatic. Let's go here and let's remove the presets. By the way, this is all disclosures out of the way. This is Aurora HDR Pro. I co-developed this with MacFun Software, incredible company, and we get, since I helped them design it, of course I get a revenue share. Okay, but it really is the best. I use it all the time. I'm not lying. I love it. All my insider friends know that I do this all the time. I love this thing. It's incredible. So this came out of 3 shots and du trois. Actually, if you look up here, you can see the 3 exposures were minus 2.3, minus 0.3, and plus 1.7. Why such strange, probably prime numbers? You can't have a prime decimal. But probably because I knocked the little exposure compensation thing down to negative 0.3. Doesn't matter. It's still, close enough for government work, as they say. So all I did is bring them in here, and I did turn on anti-ghosting because these people are moving around. I was very patient, by the way. If any of you guys have shot Disney World, you know how it's a zoo. This was on New Year's Eve, which is the zoo of zoos. And so I was happy. Let me just talk compositionally here for a minute, why I'm happy with this shot, is that I was able to get like some white space down around here on the sidewalk, right? Some nice white space down there. Normally it's just wall-to-wall people. So I like having like the crowd kind of contained. Does that make any sense? Kind of a contained crowd. Yeah, I like that. And yes, they are a little bit ghosted because it doesn't show how long the exposure was. Well, I shot it at f20 because I did want it a little bit ghosted. But it's probably like 2-second exposure, maybe 1 second. I'm not sure. But I like, some people are like, your people should always be sharp. Otherwise, you're not a real photographer. I think that's nonsense. Because I HDR my photos, not all of them, but most, they end up getting this painterly like feeling, right? So when the people are moving, they also have this sense of motion, and they become a bit impressionistic, like a painting. You never see an impressionist painting where all the people are sharp. You could be forgiven for having impressionist clouds, but the people have to be sharp. That's crazy. Anyone that gives you a rule, just say, that's just a silly rule. Okay? Rules are meant for people that like to follow the rules. And that's not you and me, is it? No. Okay, so let's play. Let's have a play. So here in HDR tone mapping, let me show you this. See this thing up here called HDR look? Now, when I look at this, I can see a little bit of a halo around the castle. I don't know if you can see that or not, but a little bit of a halo. So to get rid of that halo, just take the HDR look and slide it over to the left, and it just goes away, just like that. Now, I am going to bring in an HDR look in other areas, because I really want that look up in the clouds, on the castle, maybe in the bushes. Okay. But this is enough for now. I might add a little bit more contrast here, because I like contrast. I like it. I like it. I'm a contrasty guy. Which is strange because HDR by itself is kind of a low contrast thing. So I like to have a mix, a transition from high contrasty areas to low contrasty HDR areas, which we'll do right now. Oh, I'm getting a text. Let me see what this is. Let me see what this is. This might be part of my crew telling me I'm doing something wrong. I get a lot of those texts. Oh, Mike Holt from Austin. I don't know how long I'll be there, Mike. I'm coming down there to meet an art patron who is, I commissioned, I don't do many commissions, but I did 3 works for this gentleman. And so rather than just send him JPEGs, which seems a bit internet gauche, I'm going to go fly down there and show him in person. I'm going to try to stop in San Francisco and LA to have some other meetings. But I don't know how long I'll be in Austin, honestly, yet. I don't even have my tickets. Gotta get my tickets. It's another thing on my to-do list. Holy Moses. Okay, now I'm going to hit plus here and add a layer. You see right here? One of the great things about Aurora HDR, you can add layers. So you don't even have to go into Lightroom or Photoshop. Okay, I'm going to add a layer here. And now I'm going to slide down here to structure. This is where the magic happens, okay? This is where you can really make it look super HDR-ish, okay? I'm going to go over the top here just to show you, but then I'm going to dial it back. Dial it back. So amount, watch this, you get that up. Look at that sky, or look quite HDR-y. You can drop down the softness, you can increase the boost. I mean, you can make it look ridiculous, right? So you can go really crazy. So I'm just going to move the amount up a little bit. Okay. And you can see how, as I go up, it's really putting a halo around here, okay, which I don't want. And also, because I shot at f20, you see all these little spots. That makes me sad. When you shoot at f20, basically your depth of field is so big, the depth of field includes the sensor, right? So the sensor itself is in focus and all the little dust spots on there. That, unfortunately, I do have to go into Photoshop to clean up, but it's okay. That's no big deal. So I'm going to increase this a little bit. Now I'm just working on the sky, by the way. I want the sky to look painterly. I don't want the sky to be sharp, which is moving the softness to the left. I want it to be soft. I'm going to move it up a little bit here. Okay. Some of those darker areas, those grays, are becoming a little gray for me. I feel like gray clouds should be reserved for stormy days. So I'm going to do a little smart tone and pull that up. Okay. Now, of course, these adjustments that I've made have affected the entire thing, like before, after, before, not really before, after, but before, after adding all this HDR stuff. Now, I only want that look up in the cloud, so I'm going to pick my brush, and as soon as I click, watch, I'm going to click up here in the top left, I'm going to click once, everything went away except for that one click. So now as I click and draw around, I'm making that HDR look. Now I don't want to get too close to the castle. Let me drop my opacity down to 22. Because if I get too close to the castle, we'll start to see that haloing again. We don't want that. So we're just going to do sort of a soft transition here. Soft transition. Okay. Awesome. Now, that's good. So let's look at it. We can look at an overall before and after. This is the before. This is like the middle exposure of the 3 exposures, right? Middle exposure. We're up to here so far. Okay, we're making progress. Looking happy. You want Disney World to be a happy place, right? Happiest place on earth. Isn't that their tagline? By the way, I'm trying to squeeze in. I want to go back. They're releasing this World of Avatar place, the new Avatar area. Which I'm really excited about that. I think it's at the Animal Kingdom. I saw them building it last time. It looks great. Okay, so now I'm going to add another layer, and I'm going to add a lot of detail to the castle. Okay, let's zoom in a little bit, shall we? I don't love zooming on this because it's a little slow. Okay, believe me, I'm working on it with. Look, this is only at 50%. Look at the detail. But now what it's having to do is having to re-render all those layers. Oh, was it that bad? Was it too bad? Okay. More incoming messages. What's this saying? What's going on here? 18. Uh-oh. The left and bottom are cut off of my Aurora window. Why is that? Let me go look at the live broadcast here, see what's going on. Refresh here. It is cut off a little bit, isn't it? Okay. Let's do a live fix. Let's do a live fix here, shall we? Watch this. Okay, you're getting really behind the scenes here. This is this program I use called Wirecast, okay? And it might appear that I know what I'm doing, but I don't. The problem is that the dimensions of this window are not quite right. So I'm going to go in here and edit shot. Okay? Well, we're getting in deep here, gang. We're getting in really deep. So what I want to do is I want to go pick this one, okay? And gosh, it's been a while since I've done this. I want to go change the dimensions of it. To respect aspect ratio. That's not going to do it. Is it the cropping? Is it left? And I think that's just going to crop more out. Or maybe that's what we need. No. Well, I want to increase the, I must be able to change the dimensions of it here somehow. I can move, oh no. Alright, now it's all over the place. Now I've done it. I can just move it like this, okay. Why can't I scale to fit? Whoa, okay. Alright, now let's make it a little smaller. Oh, now I've really done it. Look at this. I should never click that button. Okay, there's how do I scale? Command key. Okay, command key. Scale it. Oh, here we go. Look at this. Look at these hoops I'm trying to jump through for you guys, my beloved audience. See, I will tell you one thing, that 90% of my life is pure confusion, and 10% of my life makes sense. But you really appreciate it when your life makes sense, right? How can I squeeze this son of a gun? Here, what is this? Do I need to go edit this shot? No. I don't get it. I don't get it. Well, I don't know why the edges are cut off. Maybe it'll be better now. That's all I can tell you. Maybe it'll be better. Okay? Maybe. Let me go say hi to you guys again. Let's see who's watching. If you're tuning in, tell me where you're watching from. Command 0. Yeah, I was able to rescale a little bit. Alan Anderson. Be nice if you had a window. We're working on a Windows version right now, I promise you. Scale to fit. I clicked on that. Maybe this will work better. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? After I fix it, I've got to hit this arrow. Bam. Then it moves over there. Maybe it'll be better. Shoot, I don't know. Let's go back into Aurora and see. Okay, now we're zoomed in. Now, I'm really going to make it go HDR crazy, but I'm just going to paint inside the castle. Okay? So I'm going to increase the structure. I'm going to drop down the softness. You can see it got really dark in here too. So we're going to go up here to Smart Tone, which only brings out the dark parts to make it brighter and happier. Happy Disney! Look at that. I'm going to add a little detail, a bam, a little boost, a pow. Sound effects are free, by the way, here. Now I'll click my brush, and I'm just going to click on the castle. I'm going to click on the castle. Just paint in on the castle. This will make it a brighter, happier, cheerier place. Of course, Disney World should always be. Alright, what's going on here? Okay, full screen, baby. Whoa, what just happened? Oh, man. By the way, a lot of you guys know that I switched to Windows. The only thing that I use... Okay, what happened to my cursor? The only thing that I use Mac for now is Aurora. Okay? So I had to redraw the whole thing. So let's paint here, inside of here. Being a little quick and dirty. It's alright. Make us all happy. There's Walt Disney's statue, the man himself. What a cool dude. What a visionary, hey? Like, I'm going to build the world's greatest theme park in the middle of nowhere, Florida. And it worked out. Look at this thing. The kids love it. I love it. I go to Disney all the time. See this line here? This is when they do their nightly fireworks shows. Tinkerbell, who's in this case an actual woman, flies in the dark. And she's on some kind of suspender gear. She just slides on in there like some sort of fantasy pole dancer. It's awesome. Okay, there we go. So let's look at it before and after the castle. Before, after. See how it's just so much more bright and awesome now? It looks more extreme because we're close in. So I'm going to click on this, zoom out, and it will re-render everything. There we go. It's looking better all along. Okay. Let me go in here and do a little bit more detail on this one because I think I want a little bit more HDR-ness around the castle here. Let me drop down the opacity. Aha, look at this. And Disney is one of those places, you know, if I sometimes do subtle HDR, sometimes I go extreme HDR, but I feel like Disney's a place where you can go as extreme as you want, right? Am I right? Am I right? Yeah. By the way, if you guys are tuning in now, we're doing live photo edits from Disney World and around the world for my recent 60-day around the world trip. And tomorrow, one more plug for tomorrow's broadcast, oh gosh, I got so many windows open. Here in Trey's Funky Lounge, could you come join this group? It's /becoming an artist. Everyone's welcome. We're doing live photo critiques. Okay, so go post the photos that you want critiqued in that thread, and I will do my best to get to them. All right, about 5,000 members in there and growing. Happy people. Only rule in there is be nice. Okay, do this layer. Now, I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to do one of my favorite things now, which is image radiance. Okay, right here, image radiance. So I'm going to slide this up, do a little smart colorize. And I don't want to do it everywhere, just a few places, like up here in the clouds. Just kind of splotch, kind of surprise. I think it's okay to be inconsistent in the way that you use. Oh, my opacity dropped down to 1 somehow. I thought that doesn't seem to be making much effect. Okay, there we go. A little glow on the castle, looking good. So if you want to see where I just mashed in, you can see that, oh man, whenever that thing comes down, I lose a little bit of, there we go. You can see I just kind of did it up here a little bit, right? A little inconsistent. Okay, I don't want to do it too close to the castle because it would get that halo effect back, and that's no bueno. No bueno. Cool. Now, I think that there's too much sky up there, right? And I tend to like a cinematic crop. So let's crop it down a little bit so it feels more like a movie. Because, you know, of course, whenever you watch a Disney movie, there's that classic scene where there's this, you know, quadcopter flyby of the castle. And it's always in that kind of near 2:1 ratio or 1:1 ratio. So let me grab my skizzers, drop it down here, and make it a nice wide format thing. Okay, there. While that renders, let's say apply. Let's go say hello to people. Hello to people. Where are you guys watching from? You typoed the link above. Face a book. All right. Can you fix that, Stu, please? Watching from Kimberly, British Columbia ski resort. I've never been to Kimberly. Hey, Jason Teal. Exporting directly from Lightroom? No. I don't. I've got a weird workflow, Jason Teal. Now that I have switched to Windows, which is my main computer over there, I only use this for Aurora. So what I do is when I find a bracketed set, and I say, those would look good in Aurora, what I do is I grab them and I have an export preset, and I export them to a Dropbox as JPEGs, and then I use this computer maybe for like an hour to process all the HDR stuff. And then I put it back in another Dropbox, and it goes back over there for final editing. Was this handheld? Yes, it was handheld. Now I shoot pretty much only handheld during the daytime. About an hour after this, I switched to tripod because it got a little too dark. Hey, John Janeway, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while from Chicago. Good to see you. Hello, Sir Dunkel from Orlando. You know this place very well. Kathy, an Arcanum alum. What's going on? Mohammed from Egypt. Hey, I might be coming back to Egypt. We're talking to the Egyptian Board of Tourism about we're about to do a bunch of photo walks across Europe, by the way. If you want us to come to a particular city, let us know. All free photo walks, by the way. But we're thinking about having the grand prize be to join me for a week in Egypt. I think that'd be kind of fun. Go all over Egypt, go to Luxor, go up the Nile, get on a barge, go see the Sphinx, the pyramids, all that stuff. We're trying to layer it into one of our workshops. Okay, back to editing, team. So there we go. So let's look at a before and after. This is the before. That's what came right out of the camera. And the after, great. To me, it's much more happy, very colorful. I've got some more cleanup to do, in Lightroom, those little dots. And that Tinkerbell line, I think it looks like a power line. It's kind of ugly, so I'll probably just get rid of that one too. Okay, so I'm going to export as an image, and so I'm putting in this completed directory, which syncs back to my Windows computer, and that's where I'll do all my final menstruations. And let me have a drink from my giant green goblet to soothe my parched palate. I hope you guys are fans of my polysyllabic profundities and my green goblet. Okay, what should we work on next, Team Awesome? Well, inside here, I've got kind of a lucky dip. I got all kinds of stuff in here. Let's make these a little smaller. Man, Adobe products, sometimes your stuff is so slow. So slow. Okay, so I just worked on those 3 photos. These are all photos that I'm going to work on an aurora someday. I don't know. I've got, what, 100 images in here? What should I work on? This is a hot air balloon I shot over Lake Hayes. I went down there for a... Actually, we were there for our New Zealand workshop. We only do one a year. It's always a great time, but we went down there and we ended up with this amazing hot air balloon over the lake. So this is, you know, a raw file. Might work on that one. There's some more from Disney World, the Caribbean. What to work on? There's some from Egypt. They're kind of cool. Look at this cool little lamp market I was in. Oh, look at this guy with all these pretzels. I call this guy Pretzel Man. Carrying around 1,000 pretzels. We bought some lamps from this place. This is before the edit. I was looking at this one, and how far off is my horizon? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. I have no excuse. I didn't even have a wine or anything. This is a cool aerial shot that I'm still working on. We took that a couple days ago on our trip to Milford Sound. Yeah, here's a shot that I published not too long. Actually, this is the before shot. If you want to see the after shot, it's in my stream somewhere. That's it down at Milford Sound. Okay, which one should we work on? How about... there's this one from Glenarchy that I recently exported I want to work on. It's got to be up here towards the top, yeah. Where is it? I don't really see it. That's okay. We'll work on this other one. I know what we'll do. Let's work on a raw file. It's a single raw file, okay? Oh, here it is. Here's the one from Glenarchy. So here's the 3 shots. 1, 2, 3. Simple reflection shot, elegant, reductionist. I like it. That's kind of similar to the Disney shot, though, isn't it? Let's do something different. Let's work on this one from the baths. Okay, this is the before shot. Okay, so let's bring this into Aurora HDR 2017. Don't save, I already exported it. So this is one of the great, not hidden features of Aurora HDR, but one I don't even talk about much. So I'm just going to create HDR. This is a single raw photo. And people think HDR, probably because I've helped to purport this over the years, that you need 3 images or multiple images, but that's not true. You know, that raw file has a lot of beautiful light in there that you can bend around to your will, right? And so more and more I take single raw photos into Aurora. Oh, let me throw in a hot tip, by the way. So I took this with the Phantom 4 Pro, not the Pro Plus, which has been very buggy, by the way. If you check my blog, I put up an article about 10 problems I've been having with the Phantom 4 Pro Plus. But if you take multiple exposures with the Phantom 4 Plus, the Phantom 4 Pro or any Phantom 4, when I layer them in Aurora or Photomedics, they just get very noisy for some reason. I think it's the low sensor size, small sensor size, I guess. So now I just take one raw and it looks great. Okay, so this is an area called the Baths in Virgin Gorda, where we just were. We were actually staying over at the Ritz-Carlton on St. Thomas, and we jumped on a boat and came over here. I've been here about 4 times in my life. It's great. There's these boulders that come up through the sand. It's a very unique geological phenomenon. And you can like swim through the boulders, and there's caves, and it's really radical. So right away I'm going to start with the crop. Why? 2 reasons. One is I want this photo to be basically half green, half blue, okay, and have this little white line down the middle. I think, like sometimes one cool thing about photography is you can abstract it into simple shapes. I'm thinking like blue square, white line, green square, okay, so from a distance it kind of looks like that. So if you're going to do sort of a reductionist kind of thing, it looks like that. The other thing is, do you see this little boat up here? A little piece of a boat? I don't like it. I like the boat, but I don't like that it's just on there, right? So either it should be on there with some breathing room, or it should be totally off. So we get it totally off. Like this. Pull this down like this. I'm going to pull this over so we have about equal amount of green and blue. I can give it a little twist here too because I want the white. See these dots here? I like the white to go, the white rocks from one dot to the next, which they generally do, which means we have green and blue on each side. Okay, so I'll say apply. We go say hello to people tuning in. If you're just watching, let us know where you're watching from. Hey, Wanda from Plano, Texas. I lived in Plano for a long time. Melody, yeah, single raw. It's the way to go. John, you haven't been able to attend all the live broadcasts. Been catching up after they air. Yeah, cool. Well, thank you very much. Hey, look, they're not all winners. I try to keep the hardcore people happy with this stuff, right? People that love editing photos, taking photos, just get obsessed with it. Okay. Now, one thing I notice about these raw files that come out of the Phantom 4, they seem a little flat. Okay, I know you can adjust. I have not adjusted the color settings at all. It's just default, but they still come out flat to me. So I almost always just begin with a little contrast bump. I mean, you can just see what contrast does to it. I have this theory that you should have some black in your photos because I think black helps give other colors their vibration. You can see just that little thing I did. Let's look at it before and after. It just makes it a little bit punchier. Okay. Now, if you remember on the previous photo, we had that slider up there called HDR look. That only appears if you do multiple exposures. But no worries. We still have structure down here. So I can go down here and increase the HDR structure. You see if I really amp it up, it looks really quite HDR-ish, which is too much. So I'm just going to do a little bit. Just going to do a little bit like this. Looking good, looking good. It's getting a little dark over here in the green. I want it a little brighter, so let's increase the smart tone a little bit like that. Oh yeah. Now let's make a new layer and let's do some image radiance. Because I like my water to be a bit more glowy. Okay, so we're going to add image radiance here. A little smart colorize. Yeah. So it also makes it, maybe the word is blurry, but it makes the rocks a little blurry. So I'm just going to go right on the water here. Okay, kind of go around some of the rocks as best possible. So if you want to see where I just painted, I just kind of painted there. I missed some stuff. Let's clean that up. Okay. Let's go a little bit on the grass here, or on the bushes. Okay, let's make the bushes a bit brighter. Okay, because they're a little dingy, or just dark. Okay, so I'm going to go back down here to image radius. This is kind of a fun trick I do. So I increase the amount, and then I increase the brightness. Maybe a little smart colorize. Yeah. So now I'm going to just randomly pop these in, so it looks like a few fresh pieces of broccoli there. Right. So this is where I just kind of popped a few things in there. There we go. Looking good. Looking good. And now maybe just for kicks, what I'll do is I will do a very extreme HDR with lots of details. So and I just want that to be on the rocks. I want the rocks to be really textury. So I'll increase the structure, decrease the softness, do some boost, okay, a little detail. And now I'm just going to paint kind of randomly over some of these rocks, just to give them just a little bit of grit, a little bit of detail. Yeah, look at that. Looking good. Looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and let me zoom into 100% here so you can see what's going on. You have to click on the hand, by the way, to go back to 100%. Let's go to 100%. Get it on these rocks so you can see. So right now, this is kind of the before, so it's rendering it. You see that? Cool. So it's until rendering it. There you go. So let's go back out. So there haven't been a lot of changes to this, just a little bit. Not every photo has to have like it was already good out of the camera, right? So just a little, right? Just a little bit, right? Look at that. So this is before and after. Before and after. So like you can see the rocks under the water much more. The water is more blue and more glowy. We're getting a little more green over here on the algae. I think that if you just look at the left side on the before and after. Before you can say, oh yeah, it is kind of dingy and dead, but now it's much more alive and vibrant. Like trees should be alive and glowing, like they are in real life, right? They're just alive and glowing. So let's bring life back to them. Happy little bushes, I like to say. Okay, good. So I'm going to export to completed. Let's pick the next ones to work on. You guys are not getting bored yet? Are you getting bored? If you are, I can stop. Okay, by the way, now that I've finished this one inside of my Aurora Me directory, I'll just hit delete. Okay. Which one now? Okay, we'll end with a hot air balloon one, okay? We'll end with a hot air balloon one. This. Yeah, that's the before. So we'll finish with that one. Let's work on this one from Egypt, from this mosque. Oh, we've got two choices here. We've got this one, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you'll never guess trivia time. Okay, this is hard. This is a hard trivia question, level 10. Okay, so here we are in a mosque in Cairo, Egypt, and this is a tomb. Okay, you will never guess, unless you're a big Middle Eastern history fan, who is buried in that tomb. Okay, I'll come back with the answer after I edit, not this photo, but I want to work on this photo. Okay, this is inside the mosque. And I don't know if you can tell or not, but there are like 60 or 70 of these lanterns that are hanging down in this chandelier. Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I really want to come back here at night, so if I do come back here at night, I want to shoot it. Can you imagine this thing all lit up at night and there's the call to prayer going on? How incredible would that be? Okay, so let's work on these, sports fans. So, Andrew Trois. Drag these into Aurora. By the way, I haven't been able to see all the questions that are coming up because I'm kind of focused on the work here. But keep asking because I will look at them later. But I know one of the questions is, when is Aurora HDR coming out for Windows? As soon as possible. We're working on it right now. I talk with the Aurora HDR team every week. So it's a very high priority for them, I assure you. Here, while that's loading, I will drink from my goblet and check the comments, you guys. Just curious, the picture you took at Epcot, where was it taken? The one with the clock. Oh, that's in Franceland. They have these little labyrinthal gardens out front of this old chateau. So you know where Franceland is. It's right there. Hey, Marshall Dillon from Southern Ontario, Canada. Thank you, Melody. Yes, it would be good for Stingray shots. What recommendation for monitors? I don't know. I always just use the one that's built in to the computer. Okay, good to see everyone. You guys be sure to come join the Becoming an Artist group. Great, really fun group. Tomorrow I'm going to pull some random photos into critique. Can't wait to do that. That's going to be fun. Just come leave a reply in here with some of your photos, and I should be able to critique them. Oh, here's a nice one from Brian Dunkel, in fact. Just heard of me. Cool. Maybe I'll pick that one tomorrow. Maybe not. You never know. It's a wild card situation. And by the way, tell your friends about this group. It's really nice. Get them all in there. Comment on each other's work. Find some new friends. So on and so forth. And by the way, if you guys want Aurora, just come here to our happy store. store.stuckincustoms.com. Got all kinds of good stuff in here. Oh, I encourage you guys to become Passport members. Nothing has changed on the site, on my blog, but now I add extra how-to videos, a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff. So when you come in here to our amazing store, just click on HDR software. We have a new HDR tutorial, all kinds of stuff. We shot it in Venice. Great stuff. Okay, plugs are done. Aurora is ready. Okay. Let's play with presets here, okay? So I'm going to click on presets. These are my expanded presets. And one of the coolest things about presets in Aurora HDR is you get to see a big, juicy preview of it, okay? So you don't even have to click on them to know what they're going to look like, right? Because sometimes when you click on a preset, it might take a little while to process it. But this saves you the time. You don't have to click on it because you get to see what it looks like. there's a few looks we can go here. This one is colorful, a little blown out. This is called a Robot Heart Morning. So that's kind of cool, isn't it? Interesting. Interesting. Oh, I don't really like this pulpit coming down here. That makes it unbalanced. Let me reset this whole thing. Let me reset the whole thing. And let's start with a crop, okay? So this might be a little more squarish, because I don't mind this part of the pulpit, but I don't really like this little stairway there. Because, you know, here's the thing with a symmetrical shot is, obviously I'm going for a symmetrical shot here. And if there's something really offensive on one side, then it does take away the symmetry. In this case, I don't really mind this pulpit because it looks alright. Doesn't really bother me too much. And, you know, I guess because I've just been on Instagram so much, I'm not afraid of the square crop anymore. And my friend Thomas Hawk has told me a lot about the square crop. Is that here's two hot tips. One is if you're having trouble composing something, like you can't quite get the composition right, just put it in a square and it looks fine, right? Like, say, I always have this example of taking a picture of a leaf on a sidewalk, because I feel like that's what people do when they get into Instagram. Like, oh my God, there's a leaf on the sidewalk. I gotta gram that. Well, the picture looks great if you put the leaf in the middle, or if only like part of the leaf is hanging off the side. Like, whoa, you know, that's a genius shot. So you can put anything in a square. The other thing that I might do later in Photoshop, it's a bit of an advanced maneuver, but I might pull this in and like reflect the right side to the left side to remove that pulpit, okay? If you want to make it truly symmetrical, you can always do that. You can always do a flippy McFlip flip and make that happen, okay? So I kind of like that preset. I'll get another hot text message here. All right. Okay, now let's go over here. I think I like this other preset called CSI Blue Light Surprise, which you might remember if you watched that CSI episode about the furries. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Interesting. I like that glowy. It's kind of cool, isn't it? And I like all that heavy vignetting. That's pretty good. Yeah, let's just look at a before and after here. Before, after. Before, after. Obviously, the colors are much more extreme and whatever, but you know, it's your world. You can do it like that if you want to. I kind of like it. I might go ahead and warm this up a little bit. Okay, so let's go up here and move the color temperature to the right a little bit. Whoa, really warm that up. Say just a little bit here. Yeah, that's good. A little too glowy. So remember, all these presets are just starting points, ideas. So you can come in here and make an adjustment. So I'm going to drop that radiance down just a little bit. Cool. I will add a little bit of vignetting in. Okay, way down here where the buffalo roam. Add some vignetting in here. Yeah, I like that. It's looking pretty good. Pretty good. Cool. Let's look at a before and after. Before, after, before, after. Cool. Look at that. How fun is that? This is not the funnest program. Look, you can't do this in Lightroom. Well, I really don't think you can. I'm pretty good at Lightroom. And you certainly couldn't do it that fast. You know, I have a lot of Lightroom presets, and they sell like hotcakes. And if I can make Lightroom presets that could do this, I would. I'm really good at making presets, but it's just not possible. Got to get Aurora. Incroyable. Okay, so I'm going to export this one. Done with that one. Completed. And we're going to finish with the hot air balloon shot. Okay. Let me go say hello to people. Say hello to people. Wade, do you use Aurora as much if your shot was taken in broad daylight or very light situations? Almost how much are you using Luminar versus Lightroom? Good questions. I do use Aurora in broad daylight. I use Aurora almost all the time, unless it's not an HDR shot. Like, for example, like some of my Burning Man shots I take during the daytime, HDR would not help. So I slap some of my favorite Lightroom presets on it, and they look just great. So I would say that I only HDR 70% of my shots, which is still most. but some would not benefit from HDR. If I feel like I want some more texture or some more color or certain je ne sais quoi, I will run it through Aurora, otherwise not. I still use Lightroom all the time, mainly for organization. If I'm feeling quick and dirty, I might make a few adjustments in Lightroom. Otherwise, I do prefer Luminar. Okay, Luminar is great, which we also have to get over to Windows. Another thing to do. Hey from DC, what's going on? Jim the Wiz is watching. What time tomorrow? Heidi Winkler says. About the same time. Okay, just about the same time we'll be doing live critiques. You guys get your live critique candidates in here to becoming an artist. Okay. Right here, we have live photo critiques. We started a new thread here 50 minutes ago. I'll keep talking, so I'll keep it up close to the top. You put your stuff in there. All right, Team Awesome, let's go. I finished these, so I'm going to hit delete. I was thinking about working on this one from Puerto Rico too, but maybe I'll do that another time. Here's one from here's a picture from my room in Miami. Yeah, that was a cool spot. I haven't had time to process that either. It's going to look great in HDR. I can't wait. I excite. Speaking of that, I just showed my son Borat for the first time. He loved it. Okay, so I'm going to bring this single raw Melody You're a Fan into Aurora. Don't save. So you really don't have any choices with a single raw, right? There are additional settings like chromatic aberration, color denoise. I don't need that on. Okay, and I'll say create HDR. If you turn these things off, it just gets to be a little bit faster. You know what I mean? You know what I mean, Vern? Thomas, why HDR over exposure blending? I usually like the results of HDR better, and I find it faster. And also HDR will, it makes a lot of micro exposure blending adjustments. So like, you know, like inside of this hot air balloon like you're about to see, it'll help it be like bright and richly textured and do all kinds of really special exposure blending on a micro level. Judith says, do I sell my photos? Yes. We have a fine art business. If you go to TreyRatcliff.com, you can see it. We do huge prints to collectors. They're expensive, I guess, but they sell. The first two, we sell 3 of each print. We have 21 works, we sell 3. And the first 2 cost $75,000 each, and 3 out of 3 cost $95,000. So we've got collectors all around the world. We have a couple here, my neighbors. Sir Michael Hill has a print. Some friends have prints. But what they do, actually, they buy them, they hang on to them for a few years and put them in their homes. And 3 meters across, by the way, is big. It's like 9 meters. You have to have or 9 feet, 10 feet. You have to have a big wall for it. So they enjoy it for a few years, and then they resell it to other collectors for like $200,000 or more, right? And they keep trading up like that. I don't get any of that money. I just get the first part. Yes, I do use Adobe Photoshop, but I won't use it this time. I won't use it this time. Okay, here we go, team. Back to editing. Okay, so this is the original shot. You can see it looks a little dreary, a little dark, a little moody. So I'm going to keep that moodiness. Let me start with the crop. I'm going to go super cinematic with this one because I love this, the water and the drama of it. And I'll tell you one other compositional thing I like to do, and it worked out fine in this photo. This was great. Because do you see how both mountains or hills exit the frame at the same point? I think that's really important to keep balance. Okay, so what should we do here? Let me think. So my goals for this are to brighten it up, make it a little more cheery, but still keep it moody because there's some fog on the water. Yeah. It would be cool to go fishing off of a hot air balloon, wouldn't it? I've been invited to go up on this hot air balloon, I just haven't found the time. So let's do smart tone a little bit to lighten it up. Mix that in with a little bit of contrast. Okay. So you can see just those 2 things, before and after, It's already just a little bit brighter, a little bit cheerier. I haven't done any HDR stuff yet either. Very few of the controls in here are HDR centric, by the way. So let's, we want to go cooler colors or warmer colors. I like a little cooler, because it's kind of got that cool morning feel, right? That's good, looking good. Anything you want to do with the highlights or this? No. Let's play with the shadows. No. Whites? No. Alright, generally looking pretty good, pretty good. Now let's add, let me do a little HDR denoise. This HDR denoise is great, by the way. If you have any noise in your shot, this will definitely get rid of it. Definitely get rid of it. I might have a little bit, you can see up here. I shot at ISO 400, 69mm f5. Shot this with the Sony a7R Mark II. Oh, by the way, I just heard from my friends at Hasselblad, and they're sending me, by the way, I don't take any of this for granted, but I get free cameras from everybody. And it doesn't change my opinion of whether or not I recommend it. I think life is short. If I like it, I'll talk about it. If not, I ignore it. Like I love my Sony. Actually, my Sony, I bought it. Which is fine, of course. But anyway, this new Hasselblad, I can't wait to get this new medium format digital camera. Mirrorless. Come on. It's called the X1D. I'm really excited. Beyond excited. Okay. So I'm going to hit plus, adjustment layer. Now let's HDR it up here. HDR structure up. You can see how, let's talk about HDR structure here, and how HDR looks good in some parts of the photo but not other parts of the photo. And that's the real reason that I wanted to have layers in here, because if you guys have been following my tutorials forever, you know this is my big pet peeve with Photomatics, is that you can never make the whole photo look great. You would add HDR, which would look fantastic on 50 to 70% of the photo, but part of it would look horrible. So you would have to take it into Photoshop with the original RAW and mix them together using layers. And it's very difficult for a lot of people to do that, right? I know it's a hardcore move. So here, like when I do HDR structure, let's talk about what I like and don't like, okay? I like the water. I think it looks very painterly. I like the sky. But I don't like the fog. You see, the fog gets kind of chunky or something, right? It just doesn't look like fog anymore. It looks like splotches. And I kind of like the hot air balloon in HDR, but it's also become a little contrasty. So we're going to do our own thing on another layer for that, okay? So let's increase this a little bit. Let's increase the softness, okay? You can see softness to hardness. It really changes the texture of the clouds and the water. We want soft. I think it's always good to have soft sky, soft water. Okay, so now we're just going to start brushing that part in. Okay. Oh yeah, look at that. I'm trying not to go over the fog or over anything that I didn't like. So I'll start painting in here, painting in the sky, painting in the sky, happy morning. Oh yeah, looking good. Okay, so you can see it before and after. That's just of the sky and water, right? Adding a little HDR in there. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Oh, let's get rid of the presets here. Okay, well it redraws. Let me say hi to people. Hey from Denver, what's going on? Ang. Daniel, the amazing shot. Thank you. With a bow would be fun too. Yes. Hey Mike from Arrowtown. This is the photo I'm editing. From Arrowtown right now. Beautiful Arrowtown. I was just there yesterday. I was out on a little photo hike with my son. My son's taking a photography class, so I said, I know a thing or two. Let me show you, son. Let me take you under my wing. Okay, let's do a new layer. And now let's just work on the hot air balloon. Okay. Let's zoom in a little bit here. Zoomy, zoom, zoom. By the way, every now and then I get lost and I'm like, where is the zoom at? And then you got to click on the hand. Okay. Let's go to what? 50%? And let's reposition it so we can just work on the balloon here. Okay. So when you HDR objects that have dark contrasty colors like this balloon does, you got to be a little careful. Okay. So let's start with. Now remember, this is going to mess with everything, right? When I start playing with this stuff, it's going to mess with the background and everything. But don't look at the background, just look at the balloon, because that's the part we're going to be painting in with this layer, okay? So I'm going to increase the amount. I'm going to softness or hardness. I kind of like I like it a little harder, a little bit of boost. You see it's still a little dark, So we're going to go down here to Smart Tone and bring up those darker spots, okay? Now we don't want it to look like too neon, right? So every time I brush, it'll be I'm setting it about 30% or so. Okay, make this brush nice and small. And now when I click and paint, it's just doing this part. Okay. So we really want this balloon to pop out, because if you think about it, this is what got me in HDR photography, right? From the very beginning, is that I would see these incredible sunsets or cityscapes. I would take a photo, and my photo was so bad. I was like, I really need to make this pop, and so I started getting into HDR stuff. This is back when no one knew what those words meant, right? 10 years ago or whatever. And then ever since then, I've become increasingly philosophical about photos and what people look at. And you can imagine, if you're here at the lake at this point in the morning, of course you notice how beautiful everything is, but your eyes are really drawn to this hot air balloon, right? So it's okay to make it the center of interest and make it pop more than anything else, because you want people's eyes to go there, right? That's what I'm trying to do here. So of course, if I'm making that look good, I have to make the reflection look good too. Okay, now zoom back out. Okay, now it has to re-render everything, which will take just a moment. Okay, so that it looks too bright at this point. Okay, so it's too poppy, but never fear. So what I just did with this whole layer here, I can go here and just the opacity, and I can dial it down or up. So you see, as I move this, I can make the balloon, the hot air balloon, brighter or softer. Okay, I don't want it that extreme. I want to dial it back a little bit, like that. Like that looks good. Perfect. Okay, now last time for the pièce de résistance. As my friend Photo Serge would say, I'm going to hit plus, adjustment layer, go down here to my favorite area, image radiance. I'm going to increase this. Now you can see it makes it glowy, but image radiance also tends to make it darker. Okay, so that's why we added this brightness slider in here to bring back some of the brightness. Okay, and then a little bit of smart colorize. Okay, cool. Now, that kind of made the whole thing kind of Barbara Walters interview, right? So we're just going to paint in part of it. Okay, I'm just looking at it right now. I'm kind of just memorizing what parts I like. I like the glow of the fire. I love the water. The sky might be a little soft, so I may not do that part. So I'm going to focus here on the water, making it glowy McGlowstein. Okay, I do like what I did with the fog right here. Kind of tend to brighten up the fog a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of that. Oh yeah, look at this thing. Looking good. Looking good. Okay. Good, I like it. You don't want to mess with it too much, right? Don't mess with it too much. So let's look at a before and after. So this is before. This is right out of a camera. Not a cheap camera, by the way. It's like that plus the lens must be $3,000, right? So, I know a lot of people say like, you gotta get it right in the camera. Well, again, I think that's a rule that people make up, and I'm not one for following rules. I'm very anti-convention. I'm like, well, why not play with it? Because if you play with it, you get this. Look at that, so cool. I'm going to tone down the blue down below a little bit, and I'll do that by decreasing the smart colorize. Yeah, look at that. Looking good. Looking good, team. Looking good. Okay, hold on. Another incoming message here from Ruby. Ruby's coming over. Maybe she'll make an exciting appearance. I'm redoing my studio. I've got so much stuff in my studio, I got to redo the whole thing. So let's go look at one more before. Let me export this one, and we'll look at one more before and after in Bridge. Export this to completed. Okay, let's jump over here to Bridge. Okay, let's find this one. I'll drop down to completed so we go side by side and look at it. Of course, I told Ruby to come here at 12 noon, and I get a message at, what is it, 12:04 saying I'll be there soon. I'm like, okay, all right. I think it's going to have to be like my wife. When I say, hey, the plane leaves at 9 a.m. Now I'm to the point where I say the plane leaves at 8 a.m. I got to be there early. I got to lie, not even a white lie, a bold-faced lie, an hour early. Otherwise, we miss our flights. I can tell you, I'm an on-time guy. I show up on time or before. Let me tell you a story about Anthony Bourdain. So I was just with Anthony Bourdain like 5 days in the Grand Cayman Island. Professional guy, multi-zillionaire, go anywhere, do anything he wants. And even though I see him and we're kind of hanging out multiple times, I decided to set up time for an official interview. And Gino there, my rambling and somewhat coherent cameraman, occasional co-host. And so we get there for the interview, the official interview, and his handler is there, and I'm there, and I've got. It's not really like an interview. Interviews are. We're just gonna have a discussion about life and art and food and photography or whatever. It's gonna meander, see where it goes. Be very philosophical, like I tend to be. Anyway, Bourdain shows up 10 minutes early, right? He's just kind of sitting around waiting on me, and. Later, I was talking to him. He said, "Look, it's all about showing up on time, doing the work, day in day out, and that's what it's about. I come in, I crank out as many photos as I can, as long as I'm feeling it. But you gotta show up every day. You gotta show up. It's good. It's a meditation. Okay, so let's look at a final before and after, and then I'll say goodbye to everybody. Oops, let's go here." Jump over to completed. Oh yeah, I'm working on some 360 photos too. This is from Milford Sound. I gotta figure out how the hell to edit these things. This is taken with a Samsung Gear 360. There's the mosque photo we did. There's our Disney photo. Pretty happy with that. We started the broadcast with this if you're just tuning in. Here we go. So this is the before and after. Before and after. You can see I changed the crop. The crop is much better, right? Right? Because you got to get rid of unnecessary stuff. Like some of that sky is just unnecessary. And I never adhere to like 4x6 or 8x10. These are just, again, arbitrary rules made up by somebody else. Probably someone that owns a framing company. Make it whatever you want. Right? It's your little world. You can do whatever you want in there. Look at that. Isn't it nice how this curve of this light wraps around this very organic way? It wraps around it. And there's these random colors. There's the fog. There's the fire. Everything's happening. Everything's happening. Cool. Okay, well, let me bid you guys adieu. Jude says, how did I get into photography? Oh, it's a long story. Go watch my TED Talk. I've got a TED Talk. Go to the... 2 hot tips. Hey, what's going on, Gary? Hey, Stephen Bollinger, what's the stuff on? What's going on? I'm not going to watch the Academy. I don't get the Academy Awards here. But if there's a web link, let me know, and maybe I'll throw it on another monitor. Yes, Mel, you do have to get custom framing for sure. But generally, I get my printed on aluminum with custom. They cut it custom anyway. Anyway, to answer that question, I forgot to tell you who's buried in the mosque. You're right, Sven. Swen, or is that Sven? I'll tell you. I'll end it with who's buried in the mosque. Let me get back to the other thing. They asked about how I got started in photography. If you go to Trey or STUCKINCUSTOMS.com/Trey-Ratcliff, it's the About page. I just redone the About page. I used to have these 2 or 3 paragraphs about me, but I reread them and I thought they sounded kind of stupid. So I put a bullet point list of like the Cliff Note version of my life that's in like 9 bullet points. So that tells a little bit about it. But also on that page is my TEDx talk from Queenstown here. You can find out about it. Who is buried in the mosque in Cairo, Egypt? the Shah of Iran, of all things. If you remember, and actually I need to look up this history a little bit more, but he was flying back to Iran, and there was something going on, right? And he had to take asylum somewhere. So Egypt offered him asylum. So he came back to Egypt, and he didn't have many years left to live anyway, but he ended up dying in Egypt. And now he's buried in a mosque in Cairo, Egypt. Look at that. Look at that. And there were lots of Iranian people there visiting him. Yeah, very interesting. I recommend Cairo. It's a great place. Okay, I'll end the broadcast now. I hope you guys enjoyed it, learned a thing or two. If you like this kind of thing, I'll do more of them. Okay. I will leave you with this shot